not the things we do in life that we regret. It is the things we do not.
YouTube, what is going on? We are here with another episode of our first drive reviews, and today is going to be an awesome one. It is a life-changing experience driving this car we are in, and that is a 1988 E30 BMW M3. What an incredible car. Brian here, thank you for coming out. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
1988 BMW M3 was just an incredible car of its time, really ahead of its time. BMW saw Mercedes create the Cosworth 190e, and they knew that they had to build a car to compete with that. And here it is. Brian, how did you get your hands on this BMW M3?
Well, actually, the car came across, my mom purchased it probably around 1991, right, is when we're thinking it was. She just bought it. She traded in her Camaro and picked up this car. Man. And she drove it for many years, and then I got a hold of it.
Right, and what a way to get a hold of it, because you are sitting on a gold mine right now. You know, these are very rare cars. What are these worth at this time?
This one particular, it's probably worth close to 50,000 or around 50,000.
50,000. That is incredible. So, man, coming into this car and you get inside the interior, and automatically you know you are in something special because everything is facing you. You know what I mean? The radio, the dashboard's curved towards you. It's just really incredible. What they did with the interior, they made you feel like you're the pilot of this car. Mm-hmm. The seats, beautiful bucket seats, man. They hug you like crazy, and they're very narrow, which, you know, it hugs you right in place. So comfortable, so comfortable. How do you like the interior?
I love the interior of this car. You know, the bolsters on the seats, they just hug you, and it's just great all around. It's a great car.
So coming off of the interior, as I said, it's just such a driver's car. All the M badges facing you, the dashboard's kind of facing you, they have it tilted, but you walk outside and you see the boxiness and the fenders just snarling out at you in the rear, the wing, and just the beautiful dynamics of this car. I spoke a little bit about how they made this for the Group A touring car, and the Mercedes Cosworth 190e came out. BMW wanted to compete with that.
Yes.
Here releasing the E30 M3 in '86. Tell me a little bit about the history of this car and why you love this car.
Well, this car is such a unique car. It's a homologation model for BMW. They wanted to get into the Group A touring series.
Right.
It was being dominated by Mercedes and Audi and even Opel. So this was their car to get into that series. So being that it had to be a homologation model, they had to build a minimum of 5,000 cars in 12 months.
In 12 months, yeah.
To get them into qualify for this racing series. So essentially what they did was they built a factory-built race car. Yeah, the difference between a basic E30 and an E30 M3 is when you look at the exterior, there's really only two body panels that are the original that match up. You know, you have the hood and the sunroof. Mm-hmm. Everything else is going to be completely unique to this car.
So hopping off the exterior, let's hop into the specs of the engine of this track car. So we are powered by a 2.3 liter straight 4-cylinder, and man, this car, you know, it's a 5-speed, and it loves to be in those high RPMs. This is a very high revving car. That's correct. What is this red line at?
The red line on this is right around 7,000 RPM, and like I said, the power band on this car is 4,000 to 7,000. You can bring it right up to that red line.
Right, and
that's its happy split. That's its happy place.
Right. So this 2.3 liter has 195 horsepower and 175 pound-feet of torque. 77 pound-feet of torque.
Yep.
So although that may seem, a little low,
yes,
the weight is 2,600 pounds. And this engine, this high revving engine matched with the 5-speed, it does not feel slow at all. What do you think about the performance of this vehicle, being that you do track this car?
This car is just absolutely amazing. The engine in this car is amazing. It's also known, BMW, the E30 M3 engine is the S14 model. Just all around, it's a great car. It has an extra large combustion chamber.
Right.
Has twin overhead cams, and it has a centrally located spark plug. And all these are just absolutely necessary for, a true race engine.
Right.
To get to those high RPMs.
Right. So being that, the specs are 195 horsepower, 177 pound-feet of torque, carb weight of about 2,600 pounds, a little more, this car, being that it's rare, and it's such a legend, and it's such a jackpot to own, you want to try to keep it stock. And is that what you're trying to do? Is that what you're trying to do with this car? Do you have anything done to the car?
Many of these E30 M3s, because it was built for racing.
Right.
So many of them have been modified and chopped up and made into fantastic track cars.
Yeah.
But mine that I have here, I'm trying to keep it as original as possible. The only thing that I really have done was suspension work. I did upgrade to a Bilstein V8 shocks and struts. I did put on H&R sport springs.
Great setup.
Yes,
yeah.
It's a really nice setup.
Yeah.
I did upgrade the sway bars, and the only other modification that I did was I put a Super Sprint stainless steel Stage 2 cat delete exhaust system, and I married it up to an ANSA muffler.
Sounding engine for a straight 4-cylinder. It really is. It sounds fantastic. So speaking about all these specs, and you're telling me you definitely want me to drive it, feel it, rev it out. What, 4,000 to 7,000 is really the sweet spot for this car. What do you say we do a little bit of a pull and feel, what BMW released in '86 and what this car can do?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's hop down to second gear. Man, these clutch pedals are very close. That's something you definitely have to get used to. But it makes for good heel towing, which is really the purpose of driving this car.
It's set up just for that.
It's a track car. All right, I'm going to go up to 4,000 RPM, and then we're going to hit it. How's that sound?
Good. Let's do it.
Oh, man, so linear, so linear. That is incredible. It's just linear power, you know what I mean? It just keeps pulling. Third gear. Man, 1988 just continuously pulls. Incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. And it just keeps revving out, and it wants to. It never drops off. 2.3 liter 4-cylinder pulling through the gears.
There's no low at all.
There's not. And that is awesome, especially considering this is meant for the track. We're going in a straight line, so you're coming out of those corners consistently pulling up that high RPM range.
Yeah, it's definitely meant for a higher end speed and that power band. That's its sweet spot.
Right. Talking about all of this handling, man, I cannot wait to get onto our handling portion here. Unfortunately, we did see an accident this morning on the Snake. We're gonna go to the back side of the Snake, so don't worry, guys. I know you love this part. And we are gonna test what this car was made of. So we're gonna turn onto the back side of the Snake here, making sure my foot isn't on any other pedals, because man, they are close together. But I am really falling in love with this car, which I expected to. And with the Bilstein and H&R suspension, it actually rides really comfortably coming up on the Snake right here. this is a very comfortable car. It really
Yes.
is. How do you like the handling? Obviously, we talked about how much you love it. Is there anything you don't like about it coming onto the Snake here?
I can't think of one thing I don't like about it.
Here we are. Man, this thing is just hugging these corners. So light, 2,600 pounds. And this thing is just going, man. Just, I'm not even bringing the RPMs past 5,000, and this thing just wants to pull, diving through these corners, almost zero body roll. The steering is so tight, such a driver's car. Oh man. So the braking, you actually have to get into the brakes a little bit. Is there any special thing about the braking with this car?
The braking system on this car is completely unique to the E30 M3. It has special calipers, rotors, and even the brake cylinder is completely unique to this car.
Right, so they really made sure that they took care of the brakes too. You kind of have to dive into the brakes a little bit, but as soon as you get into them, man, it stops on a dime. What kind of pads are you running? Are they aftermarket pads? Man, this thing just hung. Oh my god.
Right now I'm just running stock pads. I do have Paget yellows that I run when I'm on the racetrack.
Right.
But you wouldn't want to drive on those right now.
No. And man, this thing is just hugging everything. Like I said, it's so comfortable too. And the tight steering, it's not like some of the cars I've ridden in where they're so tight, you know, like the suspension just has no travel and it feels like you're riding on bricks. This is a comfortable car. It really is.
Very comfortable car, and the feedback that the steering wheel gives you and the brakes and you feel this car.
Right, but you just feel like you're driving a legend right now. Such an incredible setup, the heavy-weighted steering, and I was telling you before, the shifter seems pretty high, like it's a big shifter, but the shifts are short. They're short and they're crisp, and it has a nice gate. We're gonna come up in these turns, get the car into a little bit of a higher RPM, and just, oh my god, incredible. Incredible. God, smile from ear to ear every time, and I bet every time you drive this car, you're the same way.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my god, what an experience. Brian, I want to thank you so much for bringing this E30 M3 out today. It was a blast and just such a great experience. Thank you so much. What a great time. All right, guys, so there is an incredible lineup coming for the Boost Book car reviews. If you want your car here on Boost Book, just like Brian went to my description where I have the email, boostbookreviews@gmail.com. Make sure you email me if you want your car on this first drive episode. Guys, make sure you subscribe. Also, big things coming for Boost Book. I will see you all in the next video. Brian, thank you.